Get this man some help.
Stop it. Get some help.
A Blazers podcast.
Welcome back to Get This Man Some Help.
Wow, look at
Well,
that.
your Portland Trailblazers,
Look at that.
Sean, are 1-1.
You had to bring your own blazer shirt.
Listen,
Not
look
gonna
at
be
this. I
any
wore
free
this.
ones
I
tonight.
wore this around the neighborhood, and my neighbor said, "You look like the guy from. You look like Frozone from The Incredibles."
Jesus. Yes, you do. Oh no, you do too. You do too. Well, there you go.
And now I can't unsee it.
Yeah. Well, that
I went.
That's your calling card now. You can be sort of the Blazer Frozen. I'm surprised there's not one already. That seems like a very Portland thing to have. Well done.
Yeah, now I used to think I looked cool,
Mhm.
and now I can't unsee it, and I'm like, yeah, you look like an
I
idiot.
mean, Frozen look cool.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
As you can. Let's get to the important stuff here.
I
What
would
are we
love
talking
if you were
about?
voiced by Samuel L. Jackson, actually.
Oh,
Like, we
man.
just did a full episode.
Just the most
you
incongruous. Yeah.
that
There
would
you
be
go.
Fantastic.
So the Blazers have evened it up 1-1, and the rumors of Scoot as a bust are being discredited
Ooh.
every time he steps on the court.
Ooh.
We were very up on his Game 1 performance.
Listen, we had been up on Scoot since the beginning, and then we had that one episode where we were like,
And it was
man,
mostly me.
maybe
It was
everyone-
mostly me.
Everyone else was right. Maybe he's not good. And then he heard it. And he said,
Yeah.
No. Now I found the motivation I need.
He took that
Frozone and the
personally.
chubby guy with the beard talking bad about me. Let me show you. Let me show you what I can do.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So let me here's the thing. This is what I love about live sports in general. What I love about a playoff run that has the entire city paying attention. So my kids had a little league baseball game that day, and so I couldn't watch it live. But I was driving the kids to the game and getting them warmed up and stuff. I'm an assistant coach, and I'm getting these texts, and these texts are just like one word, just Scoot, blah, you know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
like people who are obviously watching the game and they're too excited to do like a full coherent
Yes,
thought.
absolutely right.
And I'm just like,
I
what
can
is
only
happening?
text in odd sounds.
Yeah, and I'm like, what is
Send.
happening? What is going on?
Yeah.
And I pull up the box score, and I'm like, excuse me,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
what are you seeing? What's he doing well?
Well, first of all, the little bit of concern that I certainly had was that his confidence was faltering.
Right.
That is certainly no longer the case. He is showing that he is a big moment guy. He is not shying away. He is embracing it. The thing is, and we talked a little bit about this, Denny is a superstar now. And San Antonio is playing him like a superstar. They threw everything at him and the kitchen sink. I mean, he had 5 eyes on him pretty much the whole game. And Scoot said, well, okay, then it's my time now. Then it's time for me to, you notice he had 31, but he only had 3 assists. Normally you would say, well, wait a minute, you'd like to say, no. This was perfect. Give me the ball, he says, and let me do it. You know, the confidence level is through the roof. He's going where he wants to go. He's doing what he wants to do, especially considering all that attention that has to be on Denny. He's just, I mean, he is in la la land, and he's rising to meet the moment. You know, he is, a big game player, or that's their trajectory. We'll see what happens game 3, game 4, etc. But yeah, he saw the opportunity and he took it, and you really cannot ask for more, especially considering the rough season he's had.
Yeah, to our credit, when we had that low point was when they had just played the Pacers.
Yeah.
And the Pacers are actively trying to lose, and these are guys that Scoot should absolutely feast on.
Yes.
And he wasn't doing it. But you see him in these moments where literally the entire nation's eyes are on him.
Yeah.
He's playing against
Biggest stage of his life. Basketball life.
You have Steph Castle, who is going to be an all defensive player probably. Like he is so good. And then you have, Bryce, or no, not Bryce. Dylan Harper coming off the bench, who, is a stud.
Yeah.
And you have, Champagny, you have this whole sort of these guards that are just they're problems.
The
Each one of them
Spurs
is a
have
problem.
Great guard rotation. You
Oh my
forget
God.
about De'Aaron Fox. They're so good you forget about De'Aaron Fox.
Exactly. So Scoot is matched up against probably the most challenging quartet of guards that he's ever faced in his life.
Yeah.
And he's playing great defense. He's getting to where
Listen,
he needs to go.
As exciting as the 31 points, his presence on defense he was a revelation. He was just nonstop Energizer Bunny, just pouncing, just being everywhere all the time. Yeah. That to me was maybe the most impressive thing. Was defensively, he was just everywhere.
Yeah, and it never felt like this is one of those examples of like box scores lie. You know, you're like, oh, he had like kind of a wilt night where he only shot and he didn't do anything else. But like I was able to get back and watch the fourth quarter live, and then I rewatched the game, and it never felt like he was a ball stopper. It never felt like he was taking shots he shouldn't have. Even in that fourth quarter, a lot of times you'll see maybe Scoot start out really hot, and then he'll start to force things, have heat checks and stuff like that. But even in the fourth quarter, he had that timely three.
Yeah.
He had that crazy lay-in. Like, I don't know how he got the angle on that lay-in. Do you know the one I'm talking about? Just
exactly
before
what you're talking about.
It was insane. And that's the kind of finishing you need.
Yes.
You need to have that Kyrie package, that Damian package. And you can see Scoot being like, well, hold on, I got a little something for you. Let me look down. It's not a whole bag yet.
No,
it's a clutch.
It's a work in progress.
It's a sling.
And the thing that's tough, especially for point guards in the NBA, is again, you have to sort of play the percentages and you play the long game. You want to take the best shots available, right?
Yeah.
And it's like the Phoenix Suns, they're good bad shot makers, but again, that's not going to win you games in the long run. So what Scoot's doing is he's figuring out the sort of next best shot to take, and realizing that when you have a team with Denny Advia, sometimes you are the next best shot. Sometimes you doing what you have to do is the next best shot. And that's a tough thing to have to like navigate and compute on the fly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, he basically was reading the floor and was like, okay, if three guys are looking at Denny, there's only two eyes on me. I can take that. I can do that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
well,
I think this was not a ball hogging night. This was just my responsibility as the point guard is to set up the next best shot, and it just so happens that I have the next best shot, so I'm taking it.
Yep.
Business decision, and it was great.
And the thing is like we have long lamented, like obviously the entire premise of this podcast was get this man some help. Damian was alone. He was a man on an island. He had nobody around him. He had Al Farouk Amino shooting with two hands like this.
Oh, Al Farouk.
Just to take a little sidestep, like that form is incredible. It's just like legendary. If you see it now, it looks like it's a joke. But anyway, we've long lamented this, and you have a playoff game, where Denny Advia shoots 5 for 13 and finishes with 14 points, and you still get the W.
Yep.
And that's the kind of help that you need to have that separates a team that can be dangerous with a really good team. That separates the Spurs and the Celtics and all the other teams who have that bench, have that backup. And the Blazers are showing, hey, we might have some help. The call's coming from in the house. We might have some help right here.
You might have some help. Yeah. And Scoot says, I'll be that. I'll be that. And, it's a weird thing because I think it kind of took. Drew Holiday has not had the best offensive series, and he has taken some real questionable shots at some real questionable times. Again, Drew is a very good bad shot maker, but I kind of think it took him struggling too to cut. Oh.
We have this team where all of a sudden maybe Denny doesn't have to do it all, and even like Shaden coming off the bench, he was 3 for 5. He didn't have a crazy thing, but you have these small effective bursts of help, and that's you need that. That's what you need.
Well, and again, Drew Holiday made some poor decisions. I think it gave Scoot a little bit more of a permission structure to like take over and like, all right, let me go. You'd love to see a little bit more from Shaden Sharp. Yeah. And I do think that like his trajectory has been so weird, like so much promise, and then just kind of like, and I would love for him to also get in on the action, especially considering again, like the Spurs are going to keep throwing everything at Denny because they kind of have to, and so there's going to be some opportunities there. He didn't play a lot, but yeah, I just think if you have an offensive talent like Shaden Sharp, 5 shots in a playoff game seems a little underserved. you probably get a
No.
little bit more out of him in the long run. But yeah, like I said, baby steps. This is how you learn to become a good team. How you learn to become a playoff team.
You know what I would love for Shaden to do is to move.
Just in general,
Just move.
Just
like
sort of
after like when he doesn't have the ball to move.
yeah,
Because he's
yeah.
kind of he used to be. I feel like he used to be a lot more active earlier on in his career.
Yes,
And I feel like now in his effort to kind of fit in, if he gets off the ball, he goes to the corner and just kind of waits. And I think what makes Shaden really dangerous is his movement, because he is good at finding those angles and like cutting to the hoop and even if you're not going to get the pass,
right.
it's sort of like a thankless job but even if you don't get the pass, you're putting stress on the defense.
See, here's the problem, and this is what they're. I mean, if you think this is an issue now, when Damian comes back, I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit later.
We need to.
So when you're playing Scoot and Denny, right?
Yeah.
These are both guys who are going to go from 0 to 60 directly at the basket
Mhm.
at any possible moment.
Yeah.
So when you're shading, a lot of the times when you're looking for that gap, that hole to cut, that's actually the same gap or hole that either Scoot or Denny want to hit when they get to the hole. So I know exactly what you're saying, but I do wonder how much of that is sort of like them game planning, like, no, Shaden, get the hell out of the way, because Denny is going to come down. You know what I mean? And it's better for you to keep your man sort of out of range. And then if they crash on Denny, then you're open. You know what I mean?
No, that's true. That's true. But there are times where, Scoot or Denny are on the bench and Shaden's there and he needs
when both of those guys are out, then there's no excuse for him to just be standing there in the corner. But yeah, I saw that early, or kind of midpoint of the season, just like, man, like he used to, like, because the Shaden threat was that cut alley-oop, you know what I mean? Like, he's not doing a lot of that now. But like I said, when you got Denny, who is just like, again, no secret to what he's gonna do. Like, there's no magic there. He's just gonna go straight down. And so yeah, I do wonder if that's sort of a game plan issue.
Yeah, and Shaden's handle isn't the tightest, and they have really good defense. I mean, they have the defensive player of the year, and the guards are no slouches.
And plus, I mean, backdoor cutting against Wemby is a
yeah.
I mean, he's out for the next couple of game release, but yeah,
well,
your game plan against the Spurs should not be. Let's see if we can.
Yeah. No, so before we go on to Wemby, the Drew thing is interesting because he does seem to be a bit erratic, but like in those final 4 minutes, you like, thank God for Drew. Thank God for Drew, because he has the chutzpah and he has like the juice right there, where he's going to be like, no, we can win this. Exactly.
Yeah, and he's crafty, and he's got kind of an aura about him, and he's still a very good defender. Very, and he's just a savvy player. Guy you want. But yeah, like I said, he's been struggling, and I do think that created a little bit more of an opening for Scoot to be like, yeah, I got it.
Yeah,
don't worry about it. You're not hitting your shots. Let me try.
Yeah. Yeah, the weird thing about Drew is like he gives it and he takes it back. Like he tried that pass into Tumani, like that bounce pass where it was like, I mean, maybe in a regular season game in the second quarter, but then so that results in a turnout. But then a turnover. But then like shortly thereafter, he like gets the Robert Williams miss and just Johnny on the spot, just like goes right back up. And it's like, okay, well, you got it back for us, thank you. Like
Well, and plus there's a certain magic I think that Drew and Robert Williams have. I think they're very much kind of the same mind a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. Like, weirdly enough, I think Drew is better for the Blazers when Wemby is playing than not. Just because I think that when you're up against Wemby, that sort of craftiness and that sort of kind of being a little unorthodox and because Wemby is, I mean, obviously very good, but he's still young. You know what I mean? I think Drew was able to kind of like pick out, okay, like here's some weaknesses, here's some holes that we can kind of exploit on this kid.
And the Wemby thing, like we were talking about after the first game, whenever he saw Klingon, he was like, I'm going to cook, I'm going to cross over, I'm going to do tween, all that stuff. But then you saw the danger of being a 7'11", whatever he is, guy, doing that kind of move when he kind of got a little out of control with Drew and he had that really horrifying fall. It looked really scary because he sort of just fell asleep for a second and you could just see he was out.
So bad.
Very scary. You don't want that for anybody.
No.
And at first it seemed like, okay, he might miss the next 2 games. We don't know. But this morning he's listed as questionable. He's traveling with the team. The betting lines have switched to be favoring the Spurs now because I think they think he might be back tonight. Scoot had a great quote where he was like, "I hope he's back because we want to play against him.
Yes,
we want to compete against him." Which is, you got to love that about Scoot. And it could make for a really interesting game if he's back, because Scoot had like 17 points in the first quarter when Wemby was playing. It wasn't like, hey, Wemby went down and Scoot went nuts.
No, I think that he very much, the thing you got to love about Scoot is he clearly takes all of this very personally in a way that I think, blossoming superstar should. He's got a little bit of that Anthony Edwards quality of like I'm playing defense because I'm not a punk, basically. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to let you walk all over me, or you were drafted a spot ahead of me. Well, I have to come directly at you to show the Spurs that they made a mistake draft. I don't know. Whatever the equivalent of that is. You know what I mean?
Spurs could have drafted Scoot. Yeah. Thankfully, we got him. It's our.
Sure. Okay. Sure, but you know what I'm saying. You take my point. He's clearly got that kind of mentality, and it's fun to see. Also, kids, young people, anyone listen, take care of your brains, please. Yeah. The whole the notion that he might be playing tonight just fills me with sort of like parent anxiety. Like, brother, if you have a serious concussion, take the time. You don't want that brain rattling around in your head, bouncing off the.
I know.
Please.
I want to say, Victor, you're 22. You're gonna have You're gonna have 15 more first rounds.
You've got a long career, and we want you to be able to eat without a straw.
Please.
That's very, and it just goes to show you this is what getting old looks like. Because Victor, I could be his father. I'm old enough to be his father. Yeah. With some space, and I just see him hit his head, and I just think, oh son, please listen to the doctors. Do not push this.
Yeah. So I mean, as long as he's healthy, I want him. I want them to beat a fully healthy Spurs team.
Absolutely.
And for when you play basketball, when your team is playing against another team, you tend to villainize that thing. Basically the Blazers Warriors rivalry over the years, if you can call it that, ruined Klay Thompson for me. So I just can't enjoy Klay Thompson,
right?
Which is most people's favorite player. Our mutual friend Tim is just like, why did you choose Klay Thompson? They have Draymond Green. I'm like, I don't know. Okay, you're over-indexed on one team enough in the playoffs where you just get destroyed every year, and you got to pick somebody. And so anyway, that's how sports works. But this is it's like I think at the halftime or whatever interview, Stefan Castle was like, first and foremost, this is about Victor. I hope he's okay or whatever. You kind of felt that.
Yeah.
So. Lately, the Blazers, social media team, and even Robert Williams and Tiago Splitter, they're all being weirdly cagey about cheeky. A Damian Lillard possible return.
Very cheeky.
And there's a lot of anger in Blazerland about, there's no T-shirts going to be given out in Game 3. Which, by the way, the Portland Gear Company jumped at that, oh, thank you, we know a good marketing opportunity when we see one. Come over to our store, we'll give you a free T-shirt.
Sure.
And now all of a sudden we're on the KGW Evening News and stuff.
They do good work.
Anyway, so I read somebody online was like, well, maybe they're not giving T-shirts because they're giving us Dame in game 3. But nobody's coming out and being absolutely not, which is weird. It's this weird tease thing. Yeah. And then even just 5 minutes ago, the Blazers were Game 3, be there. It was something. So do you think Dame's coming back?
Well, the thing about it is, if he is, I feel like he and probably the Blazers would certainly do it in the most WWE way possible. The starting lineups are going, and then all of a sudden, my God, King, it's Dame's music is playing. You know what I mean? It's just
the lights all go off. Something happening.
Yeah, and I'd much rather have him play than a complimentary concert.
That's your
that's my big worry. No T-shirts. You're gonna get a Dame opening.
Yeah. If that happened, if they did the WWE thing where in the starting lineup it suddenly got hijacked, it was you could just see the picture of Tumani glitching out and then Dame's face comes on.
100%.
can you imagine? Like Moda Center would lift off.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
there it goes.
Yeah, we might
It's
actually
done.
have to build a new stadium after all.
Yeah.
Because it might cause some structural damage, just
Yeah.
the decibel level in that building.
There'd be like a tsunami warning.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. And I mean, like Dame loves a little spectacle. You know what I mean? Like that's definitely in his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
So,
But it can't happen, right?
listen, the thing that, some of the articles I talked about, like, well, Jason Tatum did it. And like
Jason Tatum's 14 years old.
Yeah. He's much younger, and he had the surgery like within like 24 hours of the injury, which helps a lot. But with Dame, you just can't count him out.
No.
Like I hope not. I think you let this team go the way the team's been going. You know what I mean? Because that's a difficult addition, actually. You got to refocus and refigure your game plan. Like, where is he? Is he going to start after not having played for a year? Are you going to bring him off the bench?
He couldn't start.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Certainly he couldn't play. Even though I do feel like at the beginning of the season, we had a little talk about, if anyone's going to come back early from an ACL injury or an Achilles.
It's Jason Tatum number one, and then Jason number two.
Yeah, so I mean, he's ornery enough, and it's killing him. Him being on the bench, not being able to play in these games is absolutely killing him.
Yeah,
to have to just sit there and like be a cheerleader and like a coach has got to be eating away. He's such a fierce competitor. So yeah, I don't know.
I just don't know why you do the cheeky tease stuff.
That's the thing.
Like it's like a weird move to do.
Well, and the thing is, we talked
unless
about
it's going to lead to something.
The organization is so weird now, with all the stuff that's happening with the ownership and all, everything's weird.
Yeah,
and so I don't know. I don't want Dame to come back to try to salvage, the bad ownership stuff. Don't do it in service of that. But I just don't know. But it is weird that no one is giving an affirmative one way or another.
Right.
It is just a little strange. Like, it would be the easiest thing in the world for Thiago to be like, yeah, man.
Of course not. Like, come on. We're having fun.
Let's, and I don't know if like maybe they think they're throwing the Spurs out. Like the Spurs are going to have to like, oh shoot, do we have to like game plan for Dame? Like, I mean, I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
They asked Thiago yesterday and he goes, no. Then he pauses and he goes, probably no. And it was like, why don't you just say no?
Yeah, just like
there's
I understand
no
why
reason.
Dame is not saying no, because
sure.
I don't physically, I don't think he's constitutionally capable of denying, like saying he can't do something. You know what I mean? Like that's just not how he's wired.
Yeah,
but other people in the room, surely.
I had this whole thing yesterday when I was trying to fall asleep, and I was like, we have the whole almond on the mantelpiece thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, what if it took a turn and it turned into like the Wilson, volleyball situation where he's like talking to the almond and he's like, I'll see you later. I'm going to come back early and save us in this series. And then you and I are going to have a real close talk.
Oh my God. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. Like I said, I mean, the thing is, it would be an incredible scene.
Yeah.
If he did come back, it would be incredible.
Peak television.
Yes. Oh, 100%. Like it would not surprise me if like, like the NBA, like if Adam Silver and, the TV people were all talking, hey, Dame, hey, like, hey, is there anything we can do? Like,
but my way of thinking is save it. If because don't risk it.
Well, that's the thing. Then you don't want to come back unless you know for a fact you can do it.
You don't want it to be like a KD thing where he came back too early and then he had, you save it. And then if we can squeak by the Spurs and we're competitive with the Wolves or whoever,
right?
Then, maybe you come back to stay. This is the first round.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the first round.
The thing is like, we kind of talked about it earlier, like out of all the teams and all the guard rotations, you could make your surprise comeback. The Spurs is just not, because I mean, like we're like he immediately becomes a defensive liability. You know what I mean?
That's true.
You've got a Spurs team where you've got one guy who is still maybe the quickest guy in the NBA still in De'Aaron Fox, who is lightning fast, and then you got Stephen Castle and Dylan Harper, who are both monsters, like the actual Monstars from the Space Jam movie. Like what are you going to add here? Honestly, and I'm not sure. And this is the kind of terrible. Steph Curry has the vibe, where if Steph Curry's on the court, you can never count the team out. Damian Lillard, I think, is the second best shooter in NBA history. I would argue that strongly. But he does not quite have that vibe.
No.
Of, well, Dame's on the court. This is not Willis Reed coming out of the locker room in the Garden.
It could be, though.
It could be. Or
we would lose our minds.
Or it could be some premium musical entertainment.
Yes. Oh, you think halftime show? All right.
Damian Lillard experience.
Exactly.
And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, look up, Damian Lillard All-Star Game rapping and cry a little bit.
I think in that All-Star game, was that the one where he did every event. He played in the All-Star game. He did the dunk contest, the three-point contest, the skills contest, and he performed at halftime or whatever.
No, I think this was a little later.
Okay.
He may have been hurt I'm not sure he played.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
I'm sure we'll find out in the comments soon.
I'm sure we will. Yes,
so,
please, comments.
No, that's good. So, I don't know. So, we got off our jokes about Tom Dunn being cheap and the Blazers saving money. And then Denny had some back pain in game 2. It was bothering him.
Oh, no.
It was almost like
and they sold all the Icy Hot on Facebook Marketplace.
Well, it was almost like he didn't get his masseuse.
What?
And it turns out that Tiago had to, in addition to like all his head coaching duties, the masseuse is mad because they had to check out early. And Denny can't get a massage. I mean, I'm extrapolating here. He probably got a massage. Sure. But I'm just saying. All right. But some of my favorite things.
The funniest thing in the world, if all that happened and Tiago was like, fuck it, I'll do it myself. Denny, bring me the oil and the towels. Let's go. Get on the table.
Yeah, and the cost cutting effort.
All right.
We're going to offer online courses to any Blazer who wants to be a licensed masseuse through the Universal Masseuse School online. And then you guys can just give each other massages.
Just on the team plane.
Everybody's just masseusing each other.
Because the owner can't be fucked to pay the late checkout fee for the licensed therapist.
Obviously there have the PR machinations of the ownership is working against this narrative of cheapness. And so they're trying to frame it as being like, we're ahead of the curve.
Sure.
We're seeing the inefficiencies in the market, blah, blah, blah. And so they leaked that they estimate that not doing late checkout will save the team $1 million a year.
Ooh.
But that's not math.
No.
There's no way late checkout fees add up to $1 million.
No. Especially
are we staying at the Taj
they're
Mahal?
Now not sending half of the staff.
We're not staying in Buckingham Palace. What are we talking about? This isn't Atlantis. We didn't discover an underwater city. How can late checkout fees add up to $1 million?
It's kind of like going and buying a Bentley, but and I'm not going to spring for the leather seats. Just give me the velour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are we talking about? You just spent billions of dollars on a team, but that $1 million in late checkout fees is, I don't know.
That's assuming that $1 million is an accurate number.
Not. There's just
it just can't be
in the world.
There's 42 games you're traveling. Even if late checkout fees cost you $10,000 each time, that still doesn't equal $1 million.
I mean, $1 million is a lot of dollars. It's a lot of them. That's a lot of them. Yeah, that's a lot of dollars. The whole thing is just so. And then again, you should probably pay some money for a PR person.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Recoup some of the savings into at least giving you some plausibility here. Because
whoever had it was
out nonsense.
They're just watching Austin Powers. They're like, $1 million.
$1 million.
$1 million. Hey, we should, if we ever do merch, we should have a T-shirt that says $1 million is a lot of dollars. Yeah, that could be a cool, good little T-shirt.
That's a good one.
Like and subscribe. Okay, so my favorite jokes about the cost cutting thing is, first of all, they had to, number one is they had to rename the rose quarter to a rose dime. Save money.
Sure.
A rose nickel.
Sure.
And then I liked Tumani, they took out one side of his box celebration, so it's a triangle.
It was a triangle celebration. Sure, couldn't afford that fourth
Couldn't afford the
side.
fourth
Sure,
thing.
sure.
John Hollinger tweeted out this thing where he like they win the game, and then he tweeted out the Greyhound itinerary for how they're going to get home. It's like 36 hours.
Yeah, will they be able to get back in time?
They're changing in Fresno, like it's like
the bus transfer in Fresno was really top tier. Yeah.
And I have another idea. I told you this last night, but instead of having paper towels in an Earth Day move, you go back to that rotating long towel that just loops through, so everybody's drying their hands.
Very efficient, very sanitary. Towel. Sure. Yeah.
Or what you do is you have a sign, and it says, "Be the change you want to see in the world," and it shows a diagram of as people use the bathroom and they wash their hands, they dry their hands in the back of the guy's shirt.
Absolutely right. Sure.
And then they offer up the back of their shirt to the guy behind them.
As you do.
And it's like a conga line out of the bathroom, just drying your hands.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Good.
Sure.
Sure. The vibes are all-time high.
Yeah. I mean, we're all a part of the Blazers now. And much like most of the Blazers, we're not going to any away games.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, I was watching like the Sports Illustrated podcast, and the reporters were all like, "Oh, just wait." Like there are so many more things that have been sort of, we know that have happened, but we're waiting for it to be corroborated. And most of that is because like the Blazers employees and players and coaching staff, and they all just want to get through the season. But there's this sort of promise of this treasure trove of you will not believe all the weird cost-cutting, passive-aggressive stuff that has happened that hasn't been reported yet. You will be shocked and horrified and amazed about the rest of it.
So let me get your 2 cents on this. There was this one article I read about it where it was like, hockey and basketball are not the same.
Right.
So Tom's making all these changes to his hockey team and it went really well. And now he's going to make those same changes here, but it's not going as well. And and then the article goes on to talk about how one of the reasons is because in hockey, a lot of the players are Russian and foreign, and so they don't understand English and they can't communicate very well. And I was just like, what is happening? Like, what are you talking about? It doesn't make any sense.
That is kind of crazy. That is kind of a crazy thing. They have stuff in Russia.
And it's not like they're like, we just got here.
Yeah.
It's not like it takes 10 years to get used to Giannis is very used to nice things.
Yeah, like they've got cars and electricity and buses and luxury stuff over there. Like that's such a weird.
It's basically you could put one over on them.
Yeah, so like every hockey player is basically Yakov Smirnoff.
Yeah.
I press button and light comes on. Amazing.
Yeah.
Like little sun and ceiling. Oh.
Okay. So in the Spurs game, we're not getting T-shirts.
No, we're not getting T-shirts.
We might get
Dame. I apologize.
But what are we getting? Because Shield Tile offered us something. What is it?
Meet and greet with Shield Tile.
Oh, God.
An owner's roundtable.
Okay. So the Spurs had Tim Duncan, David Robinson.
Yeah.
Delightful in the crowd.
Sure.
Cut to reactions.
Sure.
Who would you like to see from the Blazers?
Who would I like to see for the Blazers? I would like to see Kiki Vandeweghe. Just because I like saying Kiki Vandeweghe.
That's the reason, yeah?
That's basically it.
I want to see Rashid.
Seeing Rashid and Damon, because I guess they're doing like podcast stuff now.
Well, they are.
So there is actually a growing sort of rumor mill.
Yeah.
That, the Blazers are very sort of publicly and actively looking for a very cheap head coach. That Damon Stoudemire might emerge as a candidate for the job.
I don't know anything about his coaching.
I think he was at Georgia Tech, maybe, for a little while. He's done some college coaching. And
I just don't know why you do that when you have the guy already here.
Well, I mean, that is...
And I read that Tiago's making $850,000. Like, he seems like he's already sort of making the salary that you said you wanted.
It would not surprise me if this was some sort of like weird like alpha male negotiating tactic
Yeah.
of like them purposely, because basically they want Tiago to accept a little less than 1.5. So this is just all some grand bargaining chip. Like, oh, Tiago, we have so many of these candidates who want to come coach for us for 1.5. Basically, can you beat that?
Yeah.
You know, if I'm Tiago, I've already moved all of my personal effects out of the Blazers office. You know what I mean? Like, all my personal stuff is gone. I've got one picture of my wife and kids just to make it look like I'm still there. But as soon as the whistle blows at the last game, you know, because you just have to assume that they'll do that thing where they like deprogram his key card. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he might not even be allowed on the plane to come home.
Yeah, but they're gonna. We need that key card back.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we got to reprogram it for the next guy.
Right.
We can save some money.
Exactly right.
So, do you think that game night is fun with Tom Dunn?
I can't imagine.
Do you think? Because I think Shield Tile seems like a game night vibe kind of guy. Do you think he has ever invited? You know, hey Tom, like let's, you know, we're gonna be in this together. Let's, you know, come on over, and we'll have a game night.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not. I think.
Do you think they have a relationship?
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and I think they're probably a lot closer in terms of their thinking about things. Yeah. I think that Shield Tao just likes being on camera a little bit more, and likes sort of like, which is weird thing of like, this is my vanity project, but also I'm stripping it completely down. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as I get all my pictures, you know, Glad hat and all the Blazers, and oh look, here's Jeremy Grant holding my son and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, I think he's probably on the same bandwagon. He just wants he just wants to be the vibe guy. Yeah, you know, which, you know, when you have several $1 billion, even if you have no natural vibes, you can sort of manufacture those vibes by buying them.
Yeah, it's like synthetic vibes.
Because if you look, they look like synthetic vibes. Yeah. Like, he had ChatGPT explain vibes to him. Yeah. And it was like, oh, I can buy that.
And then he's like, can you also give me a haircut?
Yes, well. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Not high on these clowns. Not high on them. Just not high on them at all.
So what are you looking forward to tonight? What do you think we're gonna see? What are you hoping for? What are you fearful of?
Well, I hope that the Blazers continue executing their game plan, which has been pretty good. Yeah. I hope it's a lot of, you know, like we said earlier, I'd like to see Shaden get in on the act a little bit more. Mm-hmm. You know, I want to see Scoot continue to do what he's doing. I want to see a little bit more from Shaden. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just want to see him obviously win. I think I am now very intrigued by the idea of Damian Lillard, because you know there's nothing I love more than chaos. And that would be the most chaotic thing that could possibly happen. Yeah. I'm not even sure it would be a net positive for the Blazers, but it would be a net positive for me sitting here on the couch watching this game.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. You know, the thing pandemonium. It would be pandemonium. And we've often talked about like the open looks that Denny generates by doing the same thing every single time. Yeah. And, you know, God bless City and all of the, you know, the 3-point shot is not a forte.
One thing we know Dame can still do.
Oh, yes.
Is shoot.
And so that is something. But when you brought up the defensive thing, I was like, ooh.
Well, because the thing, if
you come not just because he's he's, you know, whatever you want to say about his defensive abilities, but just coming back into game time action and then having to go against like the fastest man on the planet.
Yeah. Yeah. And I still maintain that a lot of these bad injuries we're seeing are actually more because of the added defensive stretch of having to run around on the perimeter and chase guys like Steph Curry. And you know what I mean? And like all the hyper switching. I just think there's really bad movements for knees and ankles. So if I'm coming back from a blowout like that, and then I gotta get on De'Aaron Fox, like, you know, I don't know about that, man. I don't know.
I think what I would have been worried about is Scoot just following up such a, you know, transcendent performance. But because this is not a one game blip, this is sort of an arc that we're seeing from, you know, the play in to now. I'm looking for him to continue to build off that, because I think he's really like eating real food. It's not like empty calorie stuff. It's real, and and I'm excited to see that
Yeah,
continue.
it's not crunch time against the Kings. We're talking
Yeah,
about
exactly.
the highest level of basketball that you're going to play.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want to see Donovan finish a little bit stronger around the rim. He is a 7'2" gentleman, 7'1" gentleman, and they're and as a fellow Tolly, not to his extent, but there is a certain about you can play smaller than you are and you can play bigger than you are, and right now I feel like sometimes Donovan on the offensive end,
yes,
when it comes to generating shot, plays a little smaller than he is. I mean, in terms of rebounds, bigger, all that stuff, he's bigger, blocks bigger, but like just that offensive, there's a little bit of tentativeness there. You saw that one play where he had Luke Cornett on him, and he did that one dribble and he kind of went up with both hands, but it almost looked almost accidental. It was kind of weird. It was like a weird shot.
Well, because he doubts it. You know what I mean? Like he does not have, like he takes the three a lot more immediately and without hesitation than he does anything in the post. And that for a guy, again, he's not just 7'2", he's a big 7'2". Yeah. Like he's a 7'2" that could kind of push people around. Like see a little more bully ball out of him, and I think he could kind of push Wemby.
He has an attitude too.
Yeah. And I think it's there. I think he just needs to kind of grow into it. Speaking of which, speaking of big guys, Rudy Gobert had Jokic in hell last night.
Yeah,
an absolute hell last night.
Yeah, this is a big L for you.
Just the worst possible thing that could happen to me on a Friday or a Thursday night. Watching Rudy Gobert absolutely maul Nikola Jokic.
That famous Onion article, your least favorite person just made a great point.
Oh my god!
I whenever I see Karl Anthony Towns or Rudy Gobert,
Karl
play
Anthony
really
Towns
well,
is exactly where he needs to be on the losing end of a game
I'm just
against
saying,
or Atlanta.
You are not a bitter person in general.
No,
but when it comes to those two gentlemen,
just can't stand them. Cannot stand them.
The Nuggets thing, honestly, after that game one, I was like, the Wolves gave their best shot, and the Nuggets said, "Quiet down now."
Need to, do
and it
something
turns out,
season.
Turns out, and Jaden McDaniels, he threw all that shade about they don't have a single good defensive player on their team, and proceeded to name the people.
Yes,
and then to go out the next game and be like, "This is what I am talking about. Let me show you again."
I told you.
Yeah,
you all suck.
Yeah. Interesting times in Denver, because they were starting to shape up to be a lot of people's dark horse, contender there.
Yeah,
and it is not fun times. But what is fun is the playoffs in general. Yeah, because nobody outside of the Thunder are running away with things.
Yeah, that's
right. Even Toronto got a game, and CJ McCollum, Portland alum.
So happy.
You've got to hope all the best things for this guy.
Happy for that guy.
He goes into Madison Square Garden and just takes hearts out. Just let me hold up the heart so you can see your own heart.
Yeah.
And then goes to Atlanta and says, No. I'm going to do it again.
Yeah, we're not done.
Yeah,
we're not done yet.
I'm going to do it again.
He is really, really thriving, and I could not be happier. I maintain that CJ McCollum is the best player in the NBA never to make an All-Star team.
Yeah.
And maybe the best player in history to not make an All-Star team. Because he really is a very talented player. And he lived obviously in Dame's shadow for a long time. And now he's able to kind of just be himself, and he's the leader of that team.
Yeah. We know that he likes to eat. We used to listen to his podcast, and he could not pause to stop chewing for 1 second.
Sure. High metabolism,
He's eating, he's doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's a busy man.
But turns out he can eat. He can eat out in New York. He can eat at home.
Anywhere
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
and they're doing something where I think a lot of teams, it's tough because like Jalen Brunson is a superstar.
Yeah,
but you do have to play both sides of the ball, and I understand sometimes that can get a little too like one-dimensional if you're trying to target somebody every single time. But he is going after Jalen Brunson.
Oh, he's going right into him all the time, and it's the thing about the NBA. At the end of the day, like you got to do it. Like if you're the guy, you got to be the guy, and there's only one way to be the guy, and that's to be the guy. And CJ is just absolutely just merciless.
Yeah,
and he's talking to him too.
Yeah,
he's in his ear.
Yeah, and then I love in the after the post game thing. He's like, I'm not a villain. I'm a father. I have two daughters. And it's like, okay, CJ, you and Malcolm Brogdon can get together and talk about how you ain't cold blooded killers, but we know.
Shout out to
Now,
Malcolm
here's the
Brogdon.
thing. That to that point about taking advantage of matchups.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you remember when Denny was playing against Phoenix, and Lamar Hurd was losing his mind because he wasn't going after who was it? Kong Gillespie was on him or something like that. And he's like, "What are you doing? Just post the guy up." And sometimes that's just what you have to do. Turns out.
Yeah.
By the way, how much are you missing? Do you think Calabro at home is saying "Scooter" to himself? Just
the thing about it is all this weird stuff with the ownership. The one sort of reality I have not been able to grasp is what's going to happen with the announcing team. Yeah. Because I just want to say I think that Kevin Calabro, Lamar Hurd, and Brooke Olzadam are the best local crew in the NBA.
Yeah.
And I just have the feeling that they are not going to be back, and that is going to make me so sad next season. They were just so good and sort of got so many of us fans through the bad times, just being sort of people, like very knowledgeable about basketball, but at the end of the day, like three people that you would want to watch a game with at a bar, which I think is what that should be,
It should be. Yeah.
And because I mean, part of the thing about what he did with the hockey team is he eliminated the radio crew and basically did the TV broadcast over the radio, which is crazy because you can't do that. Like it's a whole different skill set.
Yeah.
When you can see what's happening versus when you can't see what's happening.
Yeah.
Like you can't have the same audio for those mediums. And so in Travis Demir was it Travis radio guy for Blazers is great. He is great.
Yeah.
If you've ever listened to a Blazers radio game, he is great.
Yeah.
And but they're not going to have him and Kevin Calabro. You know what I mean? They're not going to have Michael Holton and Lamar Hurd. Yeah. It just I don't know. Like I said, I just that out of everything, that's the one that's going to bum me out the most. That's going to be my Joker moment. Is turning on the game next season and putting
the lipstick just goes higher and higher.
Yeah, it's going to be Evan Turner and some like AI play-by-play. You know what I mean?
It's going to be Evan Turner and the necklace that Denny won in the play-in game.
Yes, exactly. Exactly right. Exactly right. No disrespect to Evan Turner.
All right. We got a game tonight. It's exciting stuff. Maybe I'll see you on Monday, Sean. Until then, thanks to Puma Distortion. We're going to go out with Scoot's theme, obviously.
Go Blazers.
Let's go.
It's like I didn't do like the Snoopy dance.
I know. It's like a 1950s should have like a theme dance where everybody's in the corner.